Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming tonight to our Sunday feast gathering. You can now turn and face this seat, and we'll have tonight's talk from 6 until 7 p.m. And tonight's talk will be given by Nirantara Dasa Adhikari Prabhu.
Haribol.
Nirantara Prabhu is a student and direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and tonight he will speak on the bhajan, the song Bhajahu Re Mana.
That was perfect.
Correct.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master accepted me as his disciple, and thus, by his instructions, he has opened my eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge. Therefore, I am eternally indebted to my spiritual master. And life after life, I seek to follow him. I'm going to sing and speak on this very famous bhajan. I was once told that this particular language is a very ancient form of Bengali. Our Vaishnava songbook is Sanskrit and Bengali, and this particular bhajan is my favorite. Bhajahu Re Mana Srinandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. 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 So the author of the song, Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, says it is written by Govinda Das Thakur. And Srila Prabhupada, I have 4 different recordings of this with 4 different purports. And that's what I was listening to on the hour drive from where I live to this most wonderful temple, Sri Sri Radha Giridhari ISKCON, San Diego, my favorite temple. Bhajahu Re Mana. Govinda Das is addressing his mind, because we learn in Bhagavad Gita that our real identity is not this gross body, and it is not the subtle body made of mind, intelligence, false ego, bringing about contaminated consciousness. So he's addressing his mind, because whatever yoga you practice doesn't matter. The first business is to control the mind. In the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 6, Krishna spends some verses explaining the position of the mind, how it is very strong. Indeed, In the 10th chapter of Gita, Krishna says, of senses, I am the mind, meaning it's very powerful, most formidable. And in chapter 6 of Gita, Arjuna confesses to Krishna, you want me to control my mind by yoga practice, but it's like asking me to control the raging wind. Earlier, when Krishna began his instructions in chapter 6 on the mind, on yoga, chapter 6 is all about yoga, Ashtanga yoga. Krishna warns us that the mind can be your best friend or your greatest enemy. And indeed, there is a Sanskrit word, ripur, meaning enemy. The mind is a ripper. And when I first read this chapter, I was reminded, there was once a great murderer, Jack the Ripper. So ripper on my mind is just like Jack the Ripper. One must be very, very careful. If I give the mind free control, then the mind is controlling me. But yoga means, first order of business, Savai Manak Krishna Padara Vindayo. Get the mind under control. Otherwise, don't talk about yoga. It's a farce. First order of business, get the mind under your control. As I said, if the mind is under control, the mind is your best friend. But if it's uncontrolled, your worst enemy. In the Bhagavatam, there is the teachings of Jada Bharat to King Rahugana, and it's mentioned there, the mind can actually kill the yogi. How? Because the mind, because it's so powerful, it can drag the yogi away. Just like the classic Vishwamitra, meditating for thousands of years, trying to achieve something amazing. But his whole yoga practice for thousands of years was disturbed by hearing ankle bells. The heavenly Menaka came down, sent to deter Vishwamitra from his yoga practice. Indra is very worried when he sees a yogi becoming very powerful. Indra thinks, he's after my post. I must do something. So usually he'll send some apsara, some heavenly damsel. And Prabhupada mentions, just by hearing the ankle bells, his meditation broke and he fell down and fathered the great Shakuntala, heavenly beauty. So, the author of this, and then there's Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, in his instructions, Lord Chaitanya has given us 8 instructions about the practice of chanting. What do we chant? Come on. Everybody. Yeah, I do that just to see who's awake. Yes. And unless I tell a joke or two, everybody's like this. All right. So Lord Chaitanya, his first instruction, Chaito Darpana Marjanam. First word, Chaita, can mean the mind, can mean the heart, or consciousness. basically the same concept. He says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. If you want to be devotee, first order of business, clean the mind. The mind is like a mirror. You expect a clean mirror, then you can shave. But if the mirror is foggy, don't try to shave. There'll be some nicks and cuts, some blood. No, first you remove the fog, the whatever, and now I can see. So the mind is the mirror of the heart, mirror of the soul. And if the mind is cleansed, you should be able to see God and yourself, because that's where you reside. Like we ask people, what's your address? Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, my address? Corazon, my heart. That's where I live. And my landlord? Sri Krishna, in the form of Paramatma, superior soul. Krishna, super soul Paramatma, is Vibhu, the Lord, Almighty, all-powerful. But the soul is Jiva Atma, poquita pequeña, very infinitesimal, very small. So, if the mind is cleansed, then what is that cleansing? Because we have what is called, what is that I'm looking for? I'm thinking of a shloka. Anyway, Krishna's not reminding me because I've not been a good boy. Unless you're a good boy, Krishna doesn't help you on these moments. Anyway, the contamination of the mind, lust, anger, greed, trying to exploit the material energy for my own sense gratification. Abhadreshu. Is that the word, Dravida? Abhadreshu? Huh? Where's your microphone? Because I can't hear you. We need your microphone. Shrinvatang swakata Krishna punya sravana kirtana tridyantak stohi abhadrani. There it is. Abhadrani. Abhadrani. Yes. Yes. Bhadra. Auspicious. Or we have on our altar Subhadra. Most auspicious. But this is Abhadra. Inauspicious. And what is that inauspiciousness? That inauspiciousness is attraction for material sense enjoyment. Maya. That actually is inauspicious. So, by chanting, what do we chant again? Come on. Yeah, this side's strong. You guys got to pick it up. Yeah, we got some brahmacharis in there, and they got that Shakti. Yes. So, by chanting Hare Krishna, or in the verse I quoted, Shrinvatang Swakata Krishna, just by hearing about Krishna, right now, inauspiciousness is being driven from your heart. Just why? Because right now, Krishna notices, you're coming to hear that nonsense Nirantara Dasa? That's okay. But you're hearing about me? Very good. Krishna becomes pleased when we hear about him. So that's why Prabhupada insisted in his temples that, yes, we do arti, we do kirtan, but there also must be some lecture on the philosophy And that is also kirtan. We just had nice kirtan by Bhaktivedanta Das. Everybody loves his kirtan, right? He makes everybody dance. He makes everybody happy. That's the power of pure kirtan. But this is also kirtan, talking about Krishna. So, Bhajahu Re Mana. Govinda Das says, my dear mind, let's make a contract. Let's make a deal. Like I think there was some silly TV show. Let's make a deal. So yes, you have to make a deal with the mind. Oh, my dear mind, Sri Nanda Nandana. Govinda Das is saying, oh, my dear mind, please hear and chant and remember Sri Nanda Nandana. That can only mean one person. Sri Nanda Nandana is Krishna. The same Krishna on your altar. The same Krishna in your heart. And it's not that your Krishna is different than my Krishna. No, my Krishna in my heart is the same as yours. So don't worry, there's no competition. It's the same. So Govinda Das is saying, let's work together and let's be fixed. Now, the next line, Abhaya Charanara Vindare. This word, everybody say, Abhay. Very nice word. Abhay means where there is no fear or anxiety. But where we live, I don't care, San Diego, Laguna Beach, Los Angeles, no. That's called United States of Bhai. The United States of fear and anxiety. Yes. Or any place you go. Krishna says in Gita, you can go to the topmost planet, you can go to the lowest planet, doesn't matter. All are places of temporary suffering. That Krishna certifies in Gita. You can go up, you can go down, don't worry. You're going to have some anxiety, some fear. But Govinda Das is telling us, no. If we can fix our minds on the lotus feet of Sri Nandana, and who is that? Krishna, Abhay, then we become fearless. So, this is when you make a deal, there has to be something for both parties, right? It has to be good for both. If it's good for you, it's good for me. It has to be both. Same with a marriage. That's another lecture. But it's the same thing. Can't be one-sided. Take, but no give. No. It's give and take. So, by fixing the mind on the lotus feet of Sri Nandana Krishna, we become fearless. Shall we continue with the song? Are we enjoying? Oh, good. Me too. Durlabha manava janama sat sangi taraha e baba sindhu re. Durlabha manava janama sat sangi taraha e baba sindhu re. Durlabha manava janama sat sangi taraha e baba sindhu re. Durlabha manava janama sat sangi taraha e baba sindhu re. I love this song for many different reasons. One reason, the words of this song chock full of possibilities to preach. So many potent words here that gives you impetus to speak. Durlabha Manava Jadma. This is a fundamental teaching of the Vedas. There are, according to the Vedas, 8,400,000 different kinds of bodily existence within the material world. 8 million are lower than human. Animals, aquatics, insects, birds. 8 million. 400,000 are considered human. But out of that 400,000, very small percentage is civilized. Civilized human being means following some religious codes, some principles for higher elevation of consciousness. Aryan, that word is used by Krishna in the Gita. Krishna accused Arjuna in the beginning of being anarya, not Aryan, not progressive, not being religious. No. So, Durlabha, so to get a human birth, according to the Vedas, Durlabha, rarely achieved. Because what's happening? Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. The living entity, we are like on a Ferris wheel. You've gone to Disneyland and you've gone to, right? They have the big Ferris wheel. You start out at the bottom, but little by little at the top. But you don't stay. It continues down. And it goes round and round until time is up. Come off. Oh, Mommy, I want to go in. That's it. You had your ride. There's 800 more. And we have to wait online an hour each ride. I know. I've been there. So like that, sometimes we're in a low birth, sometimes very high birth, but nothing is permanent in this material world. So everything's in flux. So to get a human body is very rarely achieved. Durlabha. Very rarely gotten. So, Govinda Das is pointing out satsanga. The priority in human life has to be satsanga. This. What is this? This is association of devotees. What's a devotee? A devotee is someone who recognizes that I am the eternal servant of God. And those who are serious practitioners of yoga, bhakti yoga especially, this association of devotees is essential, fundamental. Lord Chaitanya said that association of devotees, even for a fraction of a moment, can make the difference in one's life. So when we come together right now over Prabhupada, yes, our business is to remind each other about Krishna's name, fame, form, pastimes, instructions, is to remind each other of our eternal relationship with Krishna. This, to me, I love this concept. That and not just me, all of us have an eternal relationship with Krishna. That makes me so happy. What is that eternal relationship? It's one of loving service. But specifically, we don't know. Or shall we say, we have spiritual amnesia. We have forgotten our eternal relationship of service with Krishna. But by chanting, what do we chant?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Little by little, it is revealed to you. And there will come a day. There's a day coming, if you're good boys and girls, that eternal relationship with Krishna will be revealed, and you'll go, oh, wow, awesome. But you'll keep it private. Not that you'll go on X or whatever the idiot thing is. I now know my eternal... No. And you won't do a news conference. I just want to tell everybody that my eternal relation... No. Something very, very confidential. You don't advertise. But that's what we have to look forward to. That's why we get up every morning and we try to make this morning I am going to hear and chant with great attention. Because that is the secret of success. Paying close attention. Not like, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare... No. Focused attention. It's hard work. Yoga means, Krishna mentions that in the neophyte stage, yoga is hard work. It's not a vacation. So, every day we get up and we struggle hard to listen and pay attention to the syllables. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Just paying attention to the syllables. And Krishna points out in Gita, yes, the mind is eventually going to wander. You bring it back. I think I mentioned this last time. How do you bring it back? Hare Krishna, Hare! You have to chant louder. Now, my mind is on 12. On a guitar amplifier, it goes up to 10. But my mind is on 12. So I really have to struggle to get control of my mind, louder than my mind. So I have to chant louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So when we come together, this is called Satsanga, Association of Devotees. The discussion should be on Krishna and things related to Krishna. Just like anyone who has spent time with Bhajahu Das. I know, many, many years. Whenever he would come to LA Temple, we would meet in Govinda's restaurant, talk, and then he would say, oh, I got a shloka for you. He would always make sure that the meeting ended in Krishna consciousness, direct Krishna consciousness. Yes, that's a real friend. That is your best friend. Somebody who reminds you of Krishna, that's your best friend. Let's go. Oh, the last line. Taroho e bhava sindhure. Bhava Sindhu, the ocean of material existence. I always remember there's a scene in that movie Titanic when the ship crashes and you see the movie shows a pan of the entire ocean and people it's in the cold, freezing waters trying to stay alive. And some are hanging on to just different parts of the boat just to stay alive. And they're just hoping that they can survive until the rescue comes. But they were in the cold water for hours. Not many people, most people died. But there's that scene, and you see hundreds of people in this nighttime, dark, cold Atlantic Ocean. And I was thinking, Baba Sindhu, that's material existence. That's all of us. Every one of us are just like that, struggling in this material ocean. Just as there are waves to the ocean. So we are being tossed about by the waves known as the gunas. The modes of nature are tossing us. As Gita explains, there is a constant struggle for supremacy. The mode of goodness overcome by ignorance or passion, constantly in flux. So that's why to stay steady is part of yoga practice. It's not easy to remain steady because the modes of nature are constantly tossing us. So he says, taroho. By this process, what was the process? Fixing the mind on Krishna in the association of devotees, taroho. You will cross over this Bhava Sindhu. You'll be rescued. Same thing, practically the same thing Krishna says in chapter 7 of the Gita. Daivi hi esha gunamayi mamamaya duratyaya mam eva ye prapajante. Here it is. Mayam etam taranti. Taraho, taranti in Sanskrit. You will cross over the insurmountable Bhava Sindhu. You can't swim the Pacific Ocean and swim to Hawaii. No, you can't do that by yourself. So you cannot cross over this material existence. That's why Krishna says that it is practically insurmountable unless you surrender to Krishna. And the easiest way to surrender to Krishna is you guys are still the good, all right. You're doing a little better, but... All right, let's continue. Shita atapa bata barishana edina jamini jagire. Shita atapa bata barishana edina jamini jagire. Bifale sevenu kripana durajana chapala sukalaba lagire. Bifale sevenu kripana durajana chapala sukalaba lagire. Govinda Das in this song is showing that he's experienced. He has lived a life here in this material world, so he has some experience. Just like they have this one commercial. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. Yes, by experience, you learn. You have to have experience. Book knowledge is required, but unless the knowledge is put into practice, you don't get any realization. So you have to put things. So he is saying, yes, what was my materialistic life? I had to tolerate so many dualities. Sometimes it's very hot. Sometimes it's very cold. Yes, so many dualities. But bifale sevenu kripana durajana. Why did I tolerate all this materialistic dualities? Why? Because I wanted chapala sukha. Sukha means happiness, but chapala means flickering. And that's what Maya does. Maya gives you a taste. Here's a little taste. But then it goes away. Chapala, it doesn't stand. It doesn't remain. And not only that, in order to enjoy this flickering happiness, what did I have to do? I had to be in the association of kripana durajana, miserly, bad people. Right? There are two words, kripana and brahmana. They're two opposite. Brahmana means religious, pious, and is aware of the truth. But a kripana is a miser, is only interested in material aggrandizement and does not care how it is gotten, whether it's right and wrong, legal or illegal. No. Get the money. Get the money and run. Don't worry about this or that. And durajana, bad people. People who are not your friends. People who do not have your interest at heart. There's a nice word in the Gita, sukhrit. There are different kinds of friends mentioned in the Vedas. But sukhrit, that means your best well-wishing friend. If you have one in your life, you're good. Not everybody has. Not everybody has. But actually, everybody does. Why? Because Krishna says, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna says. Now, how many people see Krishna as their friend? Good. Because Krishna says, I, in your heart, I am your best well-wishing friend. Now, someone is going to say, well, that's nice. Prove it. Yeah, that's good. I'll prove it. Because we know from the Vedas that ever since we came to this material world, Krishna has accompanied us. Yes, we left the kingdom of God, paradise lost. We entered this material world, but Krishna did not abandon us. He accompanied us every birth. The same Krishna has been accompanying you life after life, helping or trying to help us. When Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita, actually, there's nothing in it for Krishna. When Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita, it is for our benefit. Krishna is already completely satisfied. Just look how happy Krishna looks on the altar with Radha. Radha is so great. Anything Krishna thinks, wants, boom, Radha makes it happen. Yes. So when Krishna speaks Gita, it is for our benefit. Krishna says that a couple of times to Arjuna. I'm speaking this now for your benefit. In fact, that's how Krishna's instructions end. I am speaking this for your benefit. Yatesh yasi tata kuru. Now, as you like, you do. That's another thing that I very much like about Krishna consciousness. Free will. Krishna teaches us so many things in the Gita, so many instructions, but at the end, I've told you everything. Now you consider, do as you like. But throughout Gita, he says, but if you choose the mode of ignorance, you should expect this to happen. If you choose the mode of passion, you should expect this to happen. If you choose the mode of goodness, you should expect this to happen. And if you enter those doors, you should expect this. Prasad. Actually, this whole movement is prasad. This message of Krishna is prasad. Mercy, favor. The fact that we have a temple with nice decorated deities, this is also prasad. And that we have nice kirtan and excellent classes, that is also prasad. So, Chapala Sukha refers to materialistic happiness. In the 18th chapter of Gita, Krishna says, yes, there's happiness in the mode of ignorance. Otherwise, why are people going to Las Vegas? That's happiness in the mode of ignorance. There's happiness in the mode of passion. Just look outside. San Diego, right? All these shops, all these places. As I was driving through, I was, wow, everybody's out and about going to all the shops and places, tattoos and so many things they're trying to enjoy, very busy. But you guys, you are the creme de la creme. You are the best of all the San Diegoans because you have come to hear about. Very good. Very good. But material happiness, so Krishna says, there's happiness in the three modes of nature, but limited and temporary. That's even one of the reasons Krishna gives that why he does not recommend worship of anyone else other than him. Because he says, Krishna says, you worship somebody else, some devata, you're going to get happiness, no doubt, but limited and temporary. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not interested in something limited, and I want something eternal, something full. I want amrita, deathless nectar. I want ananda, happiness that doesn't end. Let's go on. Edana yobana putra parijana ite kiyache para titi re. Edana yobana putra parijana ite kiyache para titi re. Kamala dala jala jivana tala mal. Kamala dala jala jivana tala mala. Bhajahu Re Mana niti re. Bhajahu Re Mana niti re. So in this third verse, Govinda Das Thakur is pointing out what Shukadeva Goswami points out in his initial instructions to Parikshit in Canto 2 of Bhagavatam. It is called fallible soldiers. What are the fallible soldiers? Here, Dana, your bank balance. Yobana, your fleeting youth. Putra, your sons, parijana, family members, right? We think, oh, my bank balance will save me. But I beg to inform Elon Musk that when Yamaraj comes knocking, you cannot try to bribe him like you bribed Trump. No. You cannot make a stock option deal with Yamaraj. And you certainly can't offer him one of your crazy cars. He's not interested. When Yamaraj comes knocking, come with me, Mr. Fusk. Whatever your name is. Come with me. We have some business to take care of. So, your wealth won't save you at the time of death, because the time of death is the final exam. That's going to determine the next life. Oh yes, Gita teaches there's a next life. Just as if you had lives before, your next life is also there. It all depends on our actions. So and youth, I don't know about you, I look in the mirror and I go, what happened? I look at these kids where I live, now they have that motorized bike, right? And they're they don't know nothing about the laws of the road. They're like 10, 12-year-old kids driving this way and that. It's like, whoa. And they'll just, right? And I look at them, so young and not a care in the world. Where's that? That guy's gone. No. As my wife jokes, yes, now you're an old man. Yes. So this youth, in a flash. Your relatives, family members, they can't save you at the time of death. No. The only thing that will save you at the time of death is your Krishna consciousness, your devotion to God, your faith and surrender and your love for God. That is the thing. These other things, they're fallible soldiers. They won't save you at the critical time. Then, this one to me, this next line is very vivid. Kamala dala jala jivanana talamala. Prabhupada explains this. Materialistic life is like a drop of water on a lily leaf or a lotus leaf. The drop of water does not remain steady and eventually falls off. And I remember 9/11, 2000 was 2001, right? My daughter called me, Pita, turn on the TV. So I turned it on, and just as I turned on, the second plane entered the tower, and within a few moments, like a deck of cards, the second tower crumbled. And I immediately remembered this. Komala dala jala jivana talamala. At any moment, everything is finished. Another example, 2010, I was in Santiago de Chile. I was going there every year, and it was the day before Gaura Purnima. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, it sounded like a train was coming right there in my room. That's how loud the earth, they call it terremoto, Spanish for earthquake. And the building was shaking. And I never chanted Hare Krishna better than that day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I was chanting 4 o'clock in the morning like my life depended on it, and it felt like that earthquake was 12 years or more. That's what it felt like. It was only a minute or two. But that sound and the shaking, and then after it subsided, for the next couple of days, if you heard any sound, Hare Krishna, because your senses were so, fried, so to speak, so sensitive, you would hear a crack, Hare Krishna, because you were thinking, another. And the next day on Gaur Purnim, I'm sitting down giving class, and again an earthquake comes. But I was good. I was giving class. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. I passed the examination. So for a few days, it was like that. Your nerves were so raw. You'd hear one little sound. Hare Krishna. So, Govinda Das is saying materialistic life is like that. At any moment, finished, everything done. Therefore, he ends this third verse. Bhajahu Re Mana, the lotus feet of, everybody say, Hari. Hari. Hari is a very nice name for Krishna. Hari means one who takes away a badrani. The one who takes away your anxiety. Some people, I've learned over the years, some people, not you, but there are some people, they don't like this name Hari. They won't chant it. Why? Because they think, if I chant Hari, Krishna will take everything away from me. That's what they think. That if I chant Hari, I'm going to lose my house, my wife, my Tesla, whatever. I'm going to lose. No. No. Hari takes away abhadrani, inauspiciousness, your attachment to matter. That's what Hari does. After all, Krishna says in Gita, if you surrender to me, I preserve what you have and provide what you lack. And I have full experience of this. So, before coming to Krishna consciousness, since I was 13, so for 10 years, every day I was playing guitar. For 10 years, playing guitar. I didn't know they have a name for it, called busking. I used to be a busker. I would go to Greenwich Village, sit down, and start singing, and people would throw money. That's how I survived. So, when I joined the temple, they said, because there was a guitar in the basement of the Brooklyn temple. I said, good. And one of the senior devotees said, Prabhu, no, you cannot play guitar in temple. So, that was 73. So, 5, 6 years, 7 years, never touched the guitar. Then one day, the temple president, Lakshmi Nrsingadas, handed me $50. Go buy yourself a guitar. I took that money and ran, thinking he might change his mind. When does a temple president give you money to buy a guitar? No questions. So I went and got a guitar, and I started to write songs. And I remembered what Krishna says, I preserve what you have. I hadn't touched the guitar since 1973, so this was 1979. As soon as I picked it up, I could play better than I used to play. So I understand what Krishna says here. I carry what you lack, and I preserve what you have. Amazing. This Krishna consciousness, I've been all over the world. I've been through so many situations, and I've seen how Krishna, the power of Krishna, how it has saved me time and time again. So the song ends, Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasya Re Pujana Sakijana Atma Nivedana Govinda Dasa Abhilasha Re. Prabhupada says Abhilash means desire or aspiration, right? So he's paraphrasing, not paraphrasing, no, he's repeating the same thing Prahlad told his father. When Prahlad was a 5-year-old boy, one day Hiranyakashipu, Adi Asura, the original demon, he asked, Prahlad, yes, father, come sit on my lap. And of course, he smelled his head. Prahlad, tell me now, I sent you to that school. Tell me what you are learning. Because that school was supposed to teach Prahlad how to become a first-class materialist. First class. How to enjoy, exploit. How to be a demon. Yes. So the young boy said, oh, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing I have learned, Shravana Kirtana, hearing and chanting about Krishna, remembering Krishna, praying to Krishna, serving Krishna's lotus feet, worshipping Krishna, becoming Krishna's friend, and giving everything to Krishna. Tan manyeditam uttamam. Prahlad said, in my opinion, this is the topmost education, to be engaged in Krishna consciousness, devotional service. And with that, I will end. And our resident Pandit, Bhajahu Das, has taken this song and written a nice English poem. And I'm sure he's just dying to recite it for us. Let's first encourage him.
Unfortunately, if you had told me you were going to do it, I would have. I have the first stanza. But
You can do it.
I can do the first stanza. If anyone has, I've been sending these out. O wretched, foolish mind, just give up all deceit and worship Krishna's fearless lotus feet. Don't waste this human life. Stay close to devotees and cross this worldly sea of miseries. I don't have the rest memorized.
That's all right.
Okay.
Wait,
Oh.
You're not done.
Oh, boy.
We have a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I want you to take what I spoke today and take it further. Take it to a higher platform. They deserve it.
Well, let me focus on the verse you quoted early. I don't know if you even quoted the whole thing. Shinvadam Sukata Krishna, to get to the Avadrani. So, those of you who have Srimad Bhagavatam at home, or if you don't, you can get on the internet and get it online, and their books are online. The first canto, which Srila Prabhupada brought with him to America, he didn't get on that boat until he had those 3 volumes printed, and you know how hard that was. It took 4 years to print 3 volumes. He had no money, but he had all this determination. So in the second chapter, right at the beginning of the book, there's 12 cantos, 18,000 verses. But here's the second chapter of the first canto. There are about from 6 through 21. That gives us 16 verses that really give you a whole lesson in Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada would speak about these verses all the time. So much so that we made a book out of those verses called Dharma, the Way of Transcendence. I don't know if we have any here. Do we have any of those? No, they're printed in Indian, but you can get it. So anyway, I just like to emphasize the last 4 or 5 verses, which summarize the whole thing. And he's talking about attaining the desire to hear about Krishna. This is the most important thing, because by that hearing, one attains the sword of remembrance. Yadanu yasana yukta karma grantinda bandhanam. You can cut all your karma. Chindanti kovedasan konakuya kataratim. Who would not be attracted to this message? That's why you're all here, because they're so attractive. Krishna is all attractive. So when one attains some attraction for hearing, then the last verses come at the beginning with the one he quoted. So if you allow me, just those few verses, I'll explain, and it gives a whole summary of what he's talking about. So Shinvatam Sukata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana Ridyantaksto Abhadrani Vidunoti Surit Satam. Now the word Surit he focused on. Surit is your best well-wishing friend, someone who always has your welfare in mind. Does anyone have a friend like that?
Yes.
Yes, besides Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah, it's rare. Only because, an ordinary friend, you may be very close, but after they've slept on your couch, in your living room for about a week, you say, Prabhu, really. There are limits, But there's no limits. Krishna is always with us forever, for millions of years. So he's the real Surit, as Prabhupada would sign his letters, your ever well-wisher. He's a representative of the Supersoul. So what Krishna is saying here is that, what the Sutta Goswami is explaining to the sages, is that Shinvatam Sukata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana. By hearing about Krishna from the right source, nicely, this automatically brings punya, credits, it's spiritual credits. And Krishna in the heart, as Nirantara Prabhu was saying, he sees, he's hearing about me. So vidunoti, he cleanses away. This word vidunoti means to cleanse. Just as Lord Chaitanya says to polish the mirror, it's the same idea. Vidunoti surit satam. So he's the best way. Then what happens? Nashta prayesh. And when many of the abhadras are not 100%, maybe 70, 75%. Then nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevya. By serving the Bhagavatam, by hearing, discussing, reading, and the person Bhagavat also needs to be served. We need to find a acharya, a spiritual master, and serve him. So both together, Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu, then almost all the abhadras are gone. Nashta prayeshu nityam bhagavat yuttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki. And once it attains a very firm position in devotional service, at that time, tadadadastamo bhava, the modes of nature recede. You're very fixed in the mode of goodness. And then what happens? Evam, Tadaradistama bhava kamaro lobadi cheta et anastitam sattve prasidati. Evam prasanna manaso. The word prasanna means one becomes naturally joyful. Can you imagine living a life where there's no ups and downs, where your default is full of joy? That's the high position of being firmly fixed in devotional service. So he said, Evam prasanam bhagavat bhakti yoga, bhagavat tattva vigyanam. And then Krishna reveals himself. He's there in the heart. And then it says in the last verse, because I see Balaram wants to make an announcement, is that Tadara Vidyate Vidya Grantis. The knots in the heart are cut. All of our attachments, this is why we keep coming back birth after birth. The subtle attachments and gross attachments bring us back and back again. But they're all the grunty, they're like knots, they're cut. Vidya Vidya Granti, Chindade Sarva, all doubts are ended because you've gotten direct vision of Krishna in the heart. And Chidyante Sarva Sangshaya, Chiyante Jasa Karmani, your karmic chain which has kept you bound here for millions of births is destroyed. And Drishta Evatmani Shrine. One sees oneself in one's original form, and one sees God as well in the heart. So it's all there right at the beginning of Bhagavatam. So if you don't have the book, you can get on Vedabase.io online, and you can read all the books of Prabhupada. And then when you get really inspired, you can come back and we'll give you a set.
We're over time.
I know, I'm sorry.
Hare Krishna. So yes, thank you very much again, Nirantara Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And we have a gift for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm verklempt.
you could show us your gift. You could open and show us.
Wow. Look at with my name on it, with gratitude for your service to Srila Prabhupada. I'm going to start crying, but I can't open. Oh, usually I have my wife for this kind of stuff. So far, I am concerned in relationship with my disciples who are so kindly cooperating with me in the matter of rendering service to my spiritual master. For them, I am always ready to come back from Goloka Vrindavan if they are not delivered along with me. Okay? All right, so we have nice pictures. And oh, look at that. My own little murti of Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, and this murti is made with coins that were collected throughout the world and distributed in Srila Prabhupada's books, specifically coins from countries that Srila Prabhupada visited, about 25 countries. And this tree here, this is particles of dust from the original tree in which Srila Prabhupada was, he appeared under, so yeah.
Oh, where he was born?
Yeah, yeah, where he was born, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a project by, organized by devotees, one devotee in Russia, Madana Mohan Prabhu. So somehow I got involved.
Wow.
So, all right, I think Mukunda Tran Prabhu has
something first.
This was so nice.
This is for your wife also.
And my wife gets one. You're too nice. This is the best temple president in all of ISKCON.